What's going on, everyone? So we got a video here by High Tech Lowlife, who, you know what? It's kind of a funny name. I'll go ahead and give him a subscribe because I like his page anyways. He's saying the $1,000 Steam Machine price tag is a lie, and I agree with him in that sense. Because even in my video that I made, I was like, "There's something off here." I feel like these people buy and resell stuff too, so obviously they want to jack it up higher for their price. So by that configuration alone, it is going to be cheaper than the prices that they presented. He's going to add in some more stuff also about how people do stuff with the Steam Deck as well. And it's just some interesting stuff to talk about because I know a lot of people are worried because it is blowing up all over the place. Is the Steam Machine price real or not that's been leaked? And I'm going to tell you that price is definitely not official and it is jacked up. And we're going to find out more in this video. So like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Leave some comments down below as usual. Let's go.
Here today, the Steam Machine's price was supposedly unveiled.
Yeah.
Approximately $950 or $1,000 USD converted from Czech coronas. Internet reception has not been very nice, and truth be told, I agree. If this really were $1,000, then it would be a non-starter for most people.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely when you consider that, are we even guaranteed Half-Life 3? Because if so, that has to be the only thing that would intelligently make sense to have that bundled in with the Steam Machine 512 and 2 terabyte, though I think it should be 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte options. But yeah, other than that, it's like nothing makes sense because you can't convince somebody to pay that much for that specification, except for the fact of how terrible Windows 11 is. So people want that so bad and they love their Steam profiles because they've been on Steam probably their whole life. And a lot of people probably enter in there and they like the market. So they're liable to support Valve regardless. Maybe not the hugest community in the world when we talk about buying something like that, just like the Steam Deck, but even then, it's its own ecosystem outside of Windows 11 nonsense.
But the store in question is not an official Valve retailer. No. For those who don't know, Valve does not officially sell hardware in retail stores. If you're North American or Europe, the only place to get a Steam Deck is from Valve directly.
Yeah.
In Asia, of course, you can actually buy a Steam Deck for retail, thanks to the fact that Valve partners with Komodo to deliver all of their hardware. And of course, even in the Czech Republic, the only official way to buy Steam hardware is through Valve directly on their Steam page. And truth be told, anyone can buy a Steam Deck or a Steam Machine and list it on any website of their choice. Let's look at Amazon. Officially speaking, you cannot buy a Steam Deck on Amazon, and yet it appears that someone is selling one for close to $800.
So right here, he's kind of giving you the idea that the person that's talking about the Steam Machine is pretty much setting up a pre-price of being able to get them and probably sell them for that price so that they can make some profit. And that the only way to get something like that is through Valve directly. So if you're going to be selling for $794, you're buying from Valve and you're trying to resell it higher and hoping that people are not smart enough to see that. So they're doing this right here. And he's saying that this guy is guilty of that, and that website obviously has probably done it before, and we're going to find out more in this video. Stick around. Let's see.
Like, quite literally, you are not buying this from Amazon. Amazon is not doing anything but listing it on their website. You're buying it from some third party that bought it from Valve and is upcharging you for the convenience of buying on Amazon, I guess. I don't know. And yes, there are instances of stores buying them from Valve and then reselling them on their official store.
Yeah, I mean, it says brand Valve index. And look at that. That's 4.6, 434. You wonder why, right? It's like, oof, man, makes me wonder, huh? It's like, oh boy.
So there's no reason to believe that this Czech website wouldn't also do this as well. I mean, it's common sense. The thing to remember too is that the $950 price is not actually the price, because guess what? These middlemen also have to make a little money too, so they're gonna upcharge you. Otherwise, if they sell at the same price Valve is, they're just losing money for no reason. Which brings us all back to square one. We don't know how much the Steam Machine is going to be, but once again, common sense fails against the Twitter hive mind. Some of Twitter's biggest gaming accounts, as well as some journalists, are also peddling this idea that the Steam Machine is close to $1,000. Now, people have said for a long time that if it's over $1,000, it's basically dead on arrival. You may not know this, but Valve does like to scour through the internet getting feedback without actually asking for it. And I mean, let's be perfectly honest, I think Valve also knows that the Steam Machine being $1,000 would be an epic fail.
100%, because nobody said anything about Half-Life 3 that we're hoping that's true. But even then, nobody's going to do that when you already got rigs that are way more powerful. I mean, for crying out loud, guys. I mean, like I said, the PS5 Pro started at 700 and people were complaining about that. You see what I'm saying? And then it went down to 650, which was a phenomenal deal at that time compared to where everything else is going. How the hell are you going to place this Steam Machine? And it ain't even about whether it's a console. It's which specifications. Let's get real here. I've said this before. On the PS5 Pro, I can play PC games that are, or you're looking to play console games on there, they're going to come there. I got all Sony's exclusives day one. I don't have to wait on no window. And get all Xbox games day one too. You see what I mean? The same thing that Steam is doing. And that machine is a lot more powerful. It even has 18 gigabytes of RAM, 2 extra. 16 gigabytes of VRAM, not 8 gigabytes. You see what I mean? I mean, it's weak. Dude, the Steam Machine is weaker than the PS5. Not like it's massively weaker or anything, but I'm just saying, like, when you see the price difference in that, it's like, how does this make sense when we think about specifications? It doesn't. No, what makes the Steam Machine attractive is that you have the same aspect you have in a console-like experience, but with more freedom in a PC-like aspect with mods, Steam Workshop, non-Windows, as I was saying before, Linux, and, you know, just having more customization and carrying over something that you already have that you can bring around with you rather than this huge tower. You're like, hey, I'm coming over with this huge PC. It's like, what? Or even then, if you wanted to travel, that thing would be nice to bring around with you. You can just pack it. It's the GameCube. You know what I mean? So those are some of the options that make it attractive, but obviously it needs to find that balance. I thought $700 would be pushing it to a certain extent, but that's kind of like where they need to be in that ballpark. 800 is going to be like, damn, really? I can understand if it was 1 terabyte, even then in this market, but 700 seems to be the right spot to be at for the 512. And I expect the other one to at least be 150 more or something like that.
Now, I know some people are trying to extrapolate an actual price out of this. Like, if, say, they did a flat $150 price increase to make up their margins, then the Steam Machine would be like, oh, I don't know, $700. But I don't know if the math really checks out here, because you can charge whatever you want, to be honest. On your website, I can charge whatever I want. If I were to sell my Steam Deck, I could literally put it on sale for $1,000. Now, would anyone buy a Steam Deck for $1,000 on like eBay or Facebook Marketplace? I hope not. Someone might, but I certainly hope not.
Yeah, unless you have the models that Valve doesn't have anymore, and it's like, oh, I'm a collector. I want to have all of them, so I'll pay the up price. Yeah, maybe in that regard, as somebody who just doesn't have a clue.
Because that would be stupid. Like, quite literally, the source of this came from a Reddit thread, which was then propagated by a bunch of big Twitter accounts like Pirate Nation. And of course, other big Twitter accounts got this information and ran with it as if it were the gospel. But it really isn't the gospel, because, I mean, it's wrong information. But of course, some people saw it and they've already decided to dismiss the Steam Machine almost entirely. That is until Valve actually releases a price, and then everyone, including myself, is going to make a video on it, because that's just what we do, right? I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say on this topic besides it's stupid, it's wrong, but most importantly...
I mean, I didn't even realize I didn't have it playing in 4K, but this is a good video, though.
We are still no closer to finding out the price of the Steam Machine than we were before.
Not that it really matters.
Now, if it actually were close to $1,000, the actual base price, then that would suck hard. Like, really, really hard.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a full 512 SSD and a market that is about to go insane with everything going up, and you saw the NAND and all that coming. It's like, okay, so if I wanted to upgrade, because 512 is nowhere near enough for a Steam profile, but for people who've been out there a long time with all new games constantly coming out and playing all the other stuff, what am I going to do if I want to buy a 2 terabyte? Because I wouldn't just go for 1 terabyte. I would just go for at least a 2 terabyte. How much you think that's going to cost? Coming around the corner. You see what I mean? Where it's like, nah, man, I'm good.
And I know Valve sometimes watches my videos because I know. All right. And let me tell you, Valve, if you're watching this, do not price it over $1,000 or at $1,000. In fact, price it at $500. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I just hope you can do it.
Nah, you're not going to do that.
If you like this video, please press the like button and
Yeah, cool stuff. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, I know you guys seen that Linux Tech video when he was on the phone with Valve and he was like, okay, so I'm thinking it may be $600. And then it was quiet the whole time. That automatically tells you that no matter what, it's going to be $700 at least. Because they were pretty quiet. They didn't say anything. I remember that. So that right there told you their response. And then you have all this crazy stuff happening. And I think they were kind of aware, because, you know, all these industries kind of have an inside aspect where they're always aligning and talking, putting your games on my stuff all the time. And I have so many games constantly coming in. They know the insider information. So they've already kind of adjusted. And that's kind of like an easy deduction where you're like, okay, no matter what, $600 is not happening. So let's go to 650 and beyond, no matter what. But something very quiet just tells me, oh, let's just jump to 700 and let's keep it there. And it's between the 700 range and 800 range for the 512, though the 512 should be 700. And then the other one is probably 900 because they're going to adjust for how insane the SSD market is going to be for 2 terabytes. Something like that. You know what I mean? So other than that, you know, there's not much else to really talk about in that field, but we can narrow it down to that. And we have our answer for that. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Leave some comments down below. Later.